The most accomplished person I ever knew once shared something that redirected the trajectory of my entire life. Carl Jung told me, "Your external look is an exact echo of your inner landscape, and if you cannot command what greets you in the mirror each morning, you will never command your fate." Those words didn't merely touch my ears. They cut through the layers of illusion I had carefully constructed around myself. In that moment I realized I had been living in denial, pretending that how I showed up to the world had no relationship to the state of my spirit. Most people past 40 still hold tightly to the same soothing illusion. That appearance doesn't matter, that it's something shallow, trivial, or even vain. But Jung's insight points to something far more profound. He taught that the human being is a bridge between within and without, and both must live in harmony. So, let me ask you something uncomfortable. When was the last time you truly gazed at yourself in the mirror and felt real admiration for the person looking back? When was the last time you saw not just a face, but a force of existence, a being fully in command of their essence? If your answer is a long time ago or never, then this message is meant for you. Because this is not simply about altering how you look. It's about transforming how you see yourself. Jung believed the psyche is always seeking wholeness, and that everything outside your life reflects what is occurring inside you. So, if your reflection no longer stirs you, it's a sign your inner self has been abandoned. After decades immersed in the human psyche and observing thousands across the globe, Jung recognized a universal pattern. When the outer image aligns with the inner truth, life starts to move in balance. When there's coherence between what you feel and what you project, your existence stops being a battleground and becomes a symphony. It isn't vanity, it's alignment. It's the science of psychological resonance. I once met a woman who embodied this imbalance perfectly. On paper, she had everything: career, stability, a loving family, yet her eyes held a quiet weariness. During a break at one of my conferences, she came to me and confessed, "I've reached everything I set out to achieve, but every morning I wake feeling defeated. When I look in the mirror, I see someone who surrendered." I told her something I now tell everyone. Your appearance is not an act of vanity. It's an act of responsibility. Responsibility toward your essence, your mission, and the energy you radiate into the world. There's a profound psychological mechanism at play here. Every time you see yourself in the mirror, your brain performs an unconscious comparison. It matches the physical image before it with the internal image you hold of who you are. When the two align, your mind releases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that fuel you with vitality, focus, and confidence. You feel capable, alive, and connected to your potential. But when there's dissonance, when you encounter a version of yourself that doesn't match who you believe you are, your brain reads it as an existential threat. It releases cortisol, the hormone of stress and defeat. And from that point onward, your energy leaks, your creativity dims, and your emotional clarity begins to blur. That's why on days when you feel good about how you appear, everything feels lighter. The day moves, people respond differently, and opportunities seem to surface effortlessly. It isn't magic. It's psychology. You are operating from a state of self-approval and inner order. Jung would say that in those moments, your persona, the image you present to the world, is in harmony with yourself, the deepest center of your being. Now, let's make one thing unmistakable. Caring about your appearance doesn't mean sliding into narcissism. It's not about vanity or shallowness. It's about cultivating a ritual of self-respect. Think of it as an act of love toward the vessel that carries your consciousness. If you owned a masterpiece, would you let it deteriorate? If you possessed a rare instrument, would you leave it untuned? Of course not. You would care for it with precision because you recognize its value. Your body, your image, your presence, they are instruments of your destiny. Through them, your soul transmits its frequency into the material world. When you neglect them, you mute a part of your own being. Most people after 40 treat their body worse than their belongings, forgetting that this body is the sacred temple through which life experiences itself. I remember the moment I had to confront this truth personally. I was 52, my career soaring, traveling the planet, sharing my work. But one night, my wife showed me a photo of me captured during a lecture. I looked at it and felt a strange shock. Is that truly me? I saw a man who looked depleted, drained, severed from his own vitality. That image became a mirror of my neglect. And that night, I made a choice. I would no longer allow my reflection to contradict the greatness I carried within. From that day forward, I treated my appearance as an extension of my integrity, not out of ego, but out of coherence. Because if you speak about mastery, discipline, and purpose, your image must embody those very principles. When you wake and approach your morning routine as a ritual of empowerment rather than obligation, everything changes. Each time you shower with presence, dress with intention, and tend to your body with respect, you are sending a message to your subconscious. I matter. I am worthy. I am prepared to lead. That woman I mentioned earlier embraced that philosophy fully. Within 6 months she was unrecognizable, not because she turned into someone else, but because she finally became herself. Her energy transformed, her eyes shone with purpose, her personal and professional life bloomed. And when I asked her what had shifted, she said something unforgettable. I finally decided to look like the woman I always sensed I was inside. That is the secret Jung wished us to understand. Your appearance is not a mask, it's a mirror. It doesn't conceal who you are. It reveals who you have chosen to become. When the external begins to mirror the internal, you enter a state of psychological wholeness. That's when your energy aligns, your path clarifies, and the universe starts to conspire with you instead of against you. So the next time you face the mirror, don't hunt for flaws, search for truth. Ask yourself, is this image before me aligned with the person I'm becoming? If the answer is no, then it's time to begin, not with shame, but with reverence. Because transformation begins in the smallest rituals of awareness. The first key is what I call the mirror principle. Every morning before stepping into the world, look into your own eyes for 30 complete seconds, not to judge yourself, but to connect. Ask yourself, is this person ready for the day ahead? Does what I see reflect my values, my inner strength, my highest vision of who I am becoming? If the answer is no, then take action. Adjust your posture, fix your hair, change your shirt. These may appear minor, but in the psyche's language, they are potent signals. They tell your unconscious that you care, that you are present, and that you are ready to embody who you truly are. Carl Jung believed that the way you present yourself outwardly is a mirror of your inner condition. The outer form follows the inner essence. The second key is what I call the 10-minute investment. Each day, devote exactly 10 extra minutes to your physical presentation. Not 5, not 15, 10. Those 10 minutes could be the most transformative investment of your day. Use them to move your body, care for your skin, or select your clothing with deliberate intention. The aim is not vanity, it is self-respect. Consistency, not perfection, rewires your unconscious image of self-worth. Consider how much time you waste scrolling meaningless content or replying to trivial emails. Far more than 10 minutes. Yet, 10 minutes consciously directed toward yourself can shift how you feel for the next 24 hours. The third key is what I call the personal standard. Define precisely how you wish to look and feel, and never let that standard slip. This isn't about superficiality, but alignment. If your standard is to always appear centered and grounded, maintain that standard when nobody is watching, especially when nobody is watching. Because, as Jung noted, your unconscious is always observing. When you honor your private standards, your self-esteem grows from the inside in a way no external applause can reproduce. The fourth key is the 1% philosophy. Rather than chasing dramatic, unsustainable overhauls, improve your appearance or your energy by 1% each day. One day, it might mean testing a new hairstyle, the next adding a brief ritual of skincare or posture awareness. These microscopic acts compound exponentially over a year. You won't just look different, you will feel reborn. The fifth and perhaps most potent key is the multiplier effect. How you feel about yourself radiates outward. Your presence touches every person you meet. When you enter a room grounded, centered, and assured, people are drawn to you. They sense your energy before you utter a word. Jung often remarked that the psyche is contagious. Your inner harmony becomes a silent invitation for others to awaken theirs. When you cultivate self-respect through your appearance, you attract not only success but connection, opportunity, and vitality. I've witnessed it endlessly. Those who consciously embody their worth receive life with open hands. They don't chase validation, they magnetize it. This brings us to a fundamental truth. Tending to your appearance after 40 is not vanity. It is leadership. Each morning you step into the world presenting your best self. You grant others quiet permission to rise with you. Reflect for a moment on the people you most admire. How do they carry themselves? How do they move through life? I assure you, they grasp that outer expression mirrors inner mastery. Perhaps you think, but I'm not in my 20s anymore. My body has changed. And that's true. But maturity should never be an excuse for neglect. It should be a reason for refinement. At 40, 50, 60, your appearance can and should display wisdom, depth, and steady confidence. You are not competing with youth. You are defining what powerful maturity looks like. When I turned 65, I vowed to become stronger, more alive, and more connected than ever. Not to appear younger, but to feel more conscious and awake. I began training with devotion, eating with mindfulness, and dressing with awareness. The outcomes went far beyond the physical. My creativity surged, my energy broadened, my work deepened. I was delivering lectures with more presence, writing with greater inspiration, and living with more gratitude than ever. Now, I want you to try something. Pause for a moment and go to the nearest mirror. Look into your own eyes and ask yourself, am I honoring the gift of this body, this life, this opportunity to do something extraordinary in the world? If your answer is yes, continue. If it's no, then today, not tomorrow, not Monday, today is the perfect day to begin. Every day you delay caring for your appearance. You are delaying caring for your life. You are postponing your power, your confidence, your vibrancy. Have you ever realized that your appearance is not only the first impression you offer others? It's the first impression you offer yourself each morning. It is the first signal your mind receives about who you are and what you can do. Imagine how different your life would feel if every morning upon seeing yourself, you felt genuine pride and excitement for the day ahead. That energy would move into your conversations, your work, your relationships. This is not fantasy, it's psychology. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what it perceives as real. When you look good, your mind concludes you are powerful, capable, and worthy of success. That belief shapes your actions, and your actions sculpt your destiny. Let me share a final technique that embodies this principle: the mental wardrobe. Each morning as you dress, do not merely put on clothes. Put on the identity of the person you are becoming. If you aspire to lead, dress as the leader within you. If you want to feel more creative, choose the colors and textures that express your inner artist. If you desire confidence, select each detail as though it were armor crafted for your spirit. Your clothing is not mere fabric. It is symbolic energy. It reminds your unconscious who you are and what you stand for. In Jungian terms, it is the ritual of individuation, the act of marrying your inner essence with your outer world. When the inner and outer self align, you no longer live by habit, you live by purpose. And from that place, everything in your life begins to echo the beauty, discipline, and meaning that already reside within you. Once a man named Roberto came to see Carl Jung. His office was littered with unfinished projects. He had put on nearly 20 kilos, and his overall look showed unmistakable signs of neglect. Jung watched him carefully and said, "If you wish to rebuild your career, you must first rebuild your image. Your outer form must mirror the inner vision you carry for your future." Roberto chose to follow what Jung described as a personal rebirth ritual. For 30 days, he woke 1 hour earlier than usual and dedicated that time entirely to himself, not to work, not to others, but to his own body and mind. He began with gentle exercise, then a mindful shower, followed by intentional clothing selection and complete personal care. In only a month, Roberto had dropped 8 kilos. But beyond that, he concluded 2 major business deals that had been stalled for months and even started a new romantic relationship. His refreshed appearance reignited his confidence, and that confidence reignited his entire life. This is what Jung called the reflection of the psyche in the physical realm. He believed that how we present ourselves is never superficial. It is symbolic. The body becomes a mirror for the soul. It shows our inner order or our inner disorder. When you align your outer image with your inner vision, you create psychological coherence. And coherence always draws transformation. Now imagine if you began tomorrow to apply what you are learning here. Imagine if you chose to let your physical appearance become a living symbol of your highest self. Let me share a practical tool inspired by Jung's method of self-observation. I call it the 5-minute mirror audit. Tonight before bed, stand before the mirror and ask yourself 5 questions. Does my current appearance reflect who I truly wish to become? What 3 things can I improve immediately? What self-care habit have I been avoiding? How would I feel if I saw someone who looked exactly like me enter a meeting? What message am I silently broadcasting to the world through my appearance? Be ruthlessly honest with your answers. Jung believed true transformation begins only when we face our own truth without masks. Then pick one specific action you can take tomorrow to enhance your appearance. Something small, yet intentional. It could be as simple as pressing your shirt with greater care, or as significant as booking an appointment with a stylist. What matters is that it's concrete and doable, because enduring change is not built on grand gestures, but on small, consistent acts repeated over time. Let me tell you about another case. A woman named Elena, 52 years old, attended one of Jung's lectures in Madrid. She had worked in marketing for 20 years, but after a restructuring, she lost both her job and her self-esteem. When she met Jung, she said, "I feel invisible. When I walk down the street, no one notices me. In job interviews, I feel like I project no authority." Jung replied softly, "Invisibility is not a matter of age. It is a matter of presence, and presence starts with how you present yourself to the world." Elena began with subtle changes. She straightened her posture, shoulders back, head high. She refreshed her wardrobe with clothing that truly fit her form. She adopted a simple but steady exercise routine and paid attention to her hair and makeup. 6 months later, Elena not only had a better job than before, she had launched her own marketing consultancy. Her physical transformation had set off a total inner rebirth. The lesson is profound. When you change how you appear, you change how the world sees you. But even more, you change how you see yourself. Your appearance is your quiet language, your personal symbol. Before you utter a single word, your image already declares your self-worth, your discipline, your values, and your intentions. Ask yourself, are you communicating excellence or neglect, confidence or doubt? Does your presence say, "This person is in control of their life," or "This person has lost direction"? These are uncomfortable questions, but they are necessary. Until you face the reality of the image you project, you cannot transform it. And perhaps you're thinking right now, this all sounds too shallow. Shouldn't people judge me by my character, not my looks? Ideally, yes. But Jung would remind us, we do not live in the ideal world. We live in the symbolic one. In the real world, people form impressions within the first 7 seconds of meeting you. In those moments, Your appearance speaks louder than your words. This isn't about fairness, it's about awareness. You can either become a casualty of perception or learn to wield perception as a tool for empowerment. Caring for your appearance is not vanity, it is self-respect. It is a declaration of personal discipline and alignment between your inner values and your outer image. Each morning that you invest time in presenting yourself with care, you are sending a signal to your subconscious. I am worth it. My life matters. My dreams are valuable. When that message is repeated daily, it ceases to be an affirmation and becomes a belief. And that belief eventually becomes your reality. That is the alchemy of transformation that Jung taught. When the inner and outer worlds harmonize, the self is reborn. Allow me to share another powerful tool with you, one that resonates deeply with the teachings of Carl Jung. I call it the ritual of the 3 mirrors. Every day, look into 3 different mirrors. The first mirror is literal, the physical mirror where you evaluate your outer appearance. The second mirror is emotional, where you ask, how do I feel about myself today? Does my outer appearance reflect my preferred emotional state? The third mirror is aspirational, where you question, does the way I present myself today move me closer to the person I wish to become, or does it pull me away from that vision? This practice trains you to develop a multidimensional awareness of your self-image and the subtle ways it shapes your destiny. Have you noticed how the most successful people always seem to have their appearance impeccably aligned? It's not a coincidence. They've grasped what Jung often suggested, that what is external is only a mirror of what lies within. Excellence in one area naturally expands into others. When you cultivate the habit of excellence in your appearance, that same discipline starts to flow into your work, your relationships, your health, and even your finances. It's what I call the domino effect of inner order manifesting as outward precision. Let me be specific about what Jung might call a healthy attachment to your image after 40. It means that every single day, without exception, you devote intentional time to present yourself in the best way possible, not for vanity, but for self-respect, not for approval, but as an act of inner alignment. It means your wardrobe should mirror who you are becoming, not who you used to be. Your exercise routine should not be punishment, but a ritual of vitality and strength. Your self-care is not an expense. It's a sacred investment in your future self. It's the recognition that your appearance is not merely aesthetic, it's symbolic. It's a psychological language that speaks to your level of self-respect, consciousness, and inner harmony. Do you remember the story I told at the start of this message? The notion that your outer appearance reflects your inner world. Years later, I realized this was not about surface vanity at all. It was about personal integrity. Integrity means every part of your life resonates in harmony. If you speak of excellence yet your image reflects neglect, there's a crack between the inner and the outer. If you talk of discipline but cannot discipline yourself to maintain your personal image, there's an inconsistency within your psyche. Jung taught that the true self seeks unity, a state where thought, emotion, and action align. Your appearance must therefore be consistent with your values, your ambitions, and the message you intend to send to the world. Now, let's explore something that can utterly shift your perspective, what I call the spiral effect of self-image. It can move upward or downward. The choice is yours. When you care for yourself, you feel better. When you feel better, you act better. When you act better, you create better outcomes. And when you produce better outcomes, you naturally take even better care of yourself. That is the upward spiral of consciousness, a force that accelerates your growth with time. But the opposite also holds. When you neglect yourself, you start to feel worse. When you feel worse, your actions decline. When your actions dip, your results suffer. And when your results fall, your self-neglect deepens. That is the downward spiral, a slow separation from your authentic self. So the question is, Which spiral are you currently feeding? And more importantly, what will you do today to ensure it becomes an ascending one? Let me offer you 3 precise actions to start your upward spiral today. Action number 1. Remove one item from your wardrobe that no longer serves who you are becoming. It could be something that doesn't fit, is worn out, or simply doesn't reflect your current identity. Donate it or throw it away today. This symbolic act tells your subconscious, I am releasing the past to make space for a better version of myself. Action number 2. Add 15 extra minutes to your morning routine for the next week, not to sleep more, but to invest in your appearance, in your presence, in the image that mirrors your evolving consciousness. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment, the visible harmony between your inner state and the person you are becoming. Use those minutes to exercise, to choose your clothes with more awareness, to care for your skin, to attend to any neglected facet of your appearance. Action number 3. Take a full-body photo of yourself today and keep it, not to criticize yourself, but as a point of reference. In 90 days, after consistently applying these principles, take another picture in the same place. The difference will astonish you. These actions may seem small, but they lay the groundwork upon which you will build a complete transformation. Before we close, I want to share a story. It's about a man named Jose, 58 years old, who had been a bank manager for most of his career. He came to see me because despite his experience and talent, he had been overlooked for a promotion 3 times in a row. During our conversation, Jose admitted he had stopped caring about his appearance years earlier. At my age, it doesn't matter how I look, he said. What matters is my work. I explained that this mindset was quietly sabotaging his growth. Carl Jung taught that what we neglect in the outer world reflects an inner neglect. Jose's unkempt appearance was sending a subconscious message. This person has lost hunger. This person has stopped evolving. Jung would have said that Jose's outer image had become a mirror of his inner resignation. Jose chose to change. He began what I now call the senior professional protocol. He refreshed his wardrobe with a style consultant's guidance. He started an exercise plan suitable for his age. He began noticing details he had ignored for years, his posture, his gait, even how he sat in meetings. The transformation was remarkable. Not only did he receive the long-awaited promotion, but he also became a mentor to younger executives who admired his poise and presence. The lesson here is profound. It is never too late to decide to present your best self to the world. You are never too old to care about your appearance. You have never lost so much time that it isn't worth beginning today. After 40, your appearance should communicate wisdom, experience, stability, and confidence. It should say, this person has learned what works in life and is applying it. Write this thought down right now. My appearance is an investment in my future, not an expense in my present. Read it aloud. Feel it. Because this mindset will change everything for you. Imagine how your life would be if you woke each day feeling completely satisfied with how you look. If every time someone saw you, their first thought was, this person has their life in order. That's not a fantasy. It's entirely attainable. It requires decision, consistency, and the understanding that caring for your appearance is caring for your destiny. Practice it this week. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Don't wait to lose weight, to have more money, or to feel more inspired. Start where you are with what you have, because your life is happening now. Every day you postpone presenting your best self is a day gone. Every morning you settle for less than your best appearance is a morning you undervalue your potential. Your appearance is not vanity, it's strategy, it's applied psychology, it's personal leadership. It's a declaration to the world that you take your life and your goals seriously. Reflect on this for a moment. What opportunities have you missed because your appearance didn't match your competence? What relationships could have deepened if you had projected more confidence? What version of yourself have you been hiding behind a neglected exterior? The time to act is not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. It's now. Because motivation follows action, not the other way around. Remember, as Carl Jung taught, the external world mirrors the internal one. You cannot embody inner excellence while disregarding your outer form. You cannot preach discipline and appear undisciplined. You cannot speak of transformation and remain unchanged in the way you present yourself. If this message has moved you to take command of your appearance and therefore your life, I want you to do something for me. Subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell so you keep receiving the tools and strategies you need to reach your highest potential. But more importantly, act today. Don't let this be just another video you watched. Let it be the pivot that changes how you look, how you feel, and how you live. You are one decision away from transforming your life completely. The decision to honor your potential through your appearance. The decision to show up as your best self every day. The decision to recognize that taking care of your image is not superficiality. It's responsibility. Decide now. Act today. Your future self will thank you forever. And when you look back a year from now, you'll remember this very instant as the point where you stopped underestimating yourself and began presenting to the world the extraordinary person you truly are. Your time is